While it's easy to dismiss sports as insignificant, they have a distinct influence and impact on our daily life. As a result of this factor, there have been several emotional and tragic events within the NBA that have affected not just the players, but the entire world. Stay tuned to find out some of the saddest and most emotional moments within NBA history. First up on our list, Terrell Owens, defending Romo. The Dallas Cowboys were defeated in a devastating playoff game a few years ago. Many writers attributed their defeat on Romo's focus, or lack thereof, to the game. This was casually stated during Terrell Owens' post-game interview. Terrell, who is known for being openly critical of his quarterbacks and for getting into too many fights with his teammates, has definitely experienced a change of heart. He became emotional and repeatedly said, as shown in the video, that they had lost as a team and that it was unjust, that it was all blamed on Tony. Given the picture most fans had of him, seeing him cry was rather shocking. The second moment on our list is a truly sad one, and one that people will never seem to forget. The iconic Michael Jordan's father, James Jordan, was cruelly gunned down while pulling off to the side of a North Carolina road to take a quick sleep, just after Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls finished their first back-to-back titles in 1993. MJ resigned from professional basketball at the age of 30 a few months later, citing his father's death as one of the reasons for his decision. After achieving an all-time high with a 72-10 regular season record in 1995-96, MJ couldn't stay away for long, as the Bulls defeated the Seattle Supersonics in 6 games to win the franchise's 4th title. Jordan, the regular season and finals MVP, led his team to a clinching victory on Father's Day, which was particularly fitting. The superstar's display of real emotion following the triumph was nearly unheard of, and this very humanizing moment serves as a lasting reminder of how much the game matters to even the best players. Magic Johnson's announcement on November 7, 1991 is one that people will never forget. Johnson revealed he was HIV positive and would be retiring from the NBA effective immediately, which engulfed the whole sports world with despair and grief. It was an illness that was really a death sentence at the time, an epidemic that couldn't be controlled. And here was a living great, one of the league's most recognizable players, declaring his impending demise. Despite their sadness and disbelief, NBA fans all over the world chose Magic to start the 1992 All-Star Game. While there was some debate in the NBA over whether Johnson should play, there was no disputing the immense emotional high that came with seeing Magic run an exhilarating fast break and deliver his iconic no-look passes to his teammates once again. Of course, he had his share of baskets, scoring 25 points to go along with his 9 assists and 5 rebounds. After hitting a 3 in the game's final seconds, Johnson was awarded MVP and surrounded by all-stars from both conferences. Johnson shocked the NBA world by coming out of retirement 5 years later. It didn't matter that he appeared in 32 games. This was a test of resiliency and the ability to endure in the face of unfathomable odds. Even if it was only for a short time, it was comforting to see Magic in a Lakers uniform on the floor. The next sad moment on our list involves Derek Fisher. Before the Utah Jazz's Western Conference semifinal series against the Golden State Warriors had started, Jazz guard Derek Fisher said that one of his children was severely ill and that his top priority would be to care for her. Fisher proved his point by missing Game 2 while returning to Salt Lake City from New York, where his daughter was undergoing emergency surgery for retinoblastoma, a rare form of eye cancer. However, as Fisher was in the air, starting point guard Darren Williams was fouled and backup D. Brown was injured. In turn, Fisher's jet landed down and a police escort was waiting to transport him to the arena so he could sub into the game as quickly as possible. With his daughter in his thoughts and no time to warm up, Fisher jogged out of the locker room and into the game, finally hitting the game-winning 3 in overtime to aid his team to a crucial win. This was a bittersweet moment that had NBA fans all over the world almost in tears. How does a botched national anthem become a defining moment in basketball? This next moment will certainly surprise you. It was the 25th of April 2003. Maurice Cheeks, who at the time was the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, had a lot on his mind. His team was down 2-0 to the Mavericks in the NBA playoffs and faced a must-win game at home. It's safe to presume that figuring out how to stop Dirk Nowitzki was far more important to him than Francis Scott Key's lyrical styling. When when Natalie Gilbert, a 13-year-old 8th grader who had won a Portland area competition to play the national anthem, began to lose track of the words in front of over 20,000 people. Pretty scary, right? Well, Cheeks immediately came to the rescue. Cheeks led the young lady and the rest of the Rose Garden crowd in one of the most passionate performances of the Star-Spangled Banner for a pro sports game ever, putting his arm around the plainly flustered Gilbert and providing his amazingly tone-deaf aid. While Cheeks' good karma wasn't enough to save his team, it will be recognized as one of the most genuine acts of kindness in league history. This next moment sums up that anything is possible. Kevin Garnett had it all before the NBA Finals in 2007 to 2008. He had everything except the elusive title. This next moment was captured immediately after the Boston Celtics defeated the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA Finals in 2007 to 8. It was there that Garnett understood he was going to lift the Larry O'Brien championship trophy over his head after all those years of dominating the power forward position. When Garnett proclaimed to the world, "Anything is possible," emotions were running high. But that's what we love to see. A genuine, heartfelt act like that is what gives our favorite game a sense of authenticity and makes them memorable for years to follow. Now, this next moment was truly game-changing for the sport and something that many fans felt great emotion over. While sports aren't typically associated with social change, the NBA has become a place where players have felt increasingly forced to speak their views and openly voice their feelings on urgent problems in recent years. The best example of this, Jason Collins, a longtime defensive stalwart who came out as gay in April 2013 and stated his intention to continue his NBA career. Collins had some time to find a team during the 2013-14 season, but in February 2014, he became the first active and openly homosexual athlete to compete in North America professional sports when he joined the Brooklyn Nets. Collins played the rest of the season precisely as expected, physical and tough in the post, and limited on offense. While Collins' bravery and accomplishment were well-deserved, the most inspiring aspect of the narrative was how much of a non-issue Collins' sexuality became after a few games. Finally, without a doubt the saddest, most tragic moment on our list, the sudden death of Kobe Bryant and his young daughter. The initial reaction around the world was horror when the chopper crashed into a California hillside on January 26, 2020, killing Kobe Bryant and the other 8 people on board. Then came the question of how. How did a seemingly ordinary trip to a youth basketball game turn deadly? How did Bryant's helicopter, which he had been using for years, suddenly crash? How could something like this happen? On the day of the tragic situation, Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter Gianna, 6 family friends, and the pilot, Ara Zobayan, boarded a Sikorsky S-76 helicopter from Orange County, California, early morning on January 26, 2020. The gang was flying to Ventura County's Camarillo Airport for a basketball contest at Thousand Oaks Mamba Sports Academy. The local police department helicopters and most other aviation traffic was actually grounded that morning due to moderate rain and fog. Due to heavy air traffic in the region, the helicopter circled above the LA Zoo. Zobayan notified the Burbank Airport's control tower of the predicament at 9:30 a.m. and was told he was flying too low to be detected by radar. The helicopter then crashed into the side of a mountain in Calabasas and caught fire. Bryant, his daughter, and the other 7 passengers all died in the crash. A helicopter was heard straining before falling, according to witnesses. This was one, if not the most tragic, sad incident that has ever occurred within the NBA. Bryant was insanely beloved, and to know his daughter was taken with him makes it almost unbearable news to comprehend. And there you have it. Thanks for watching.